Hello and welcome to M6 Student Connections. My name is Charlie Donahue, here today with the Communication Arts teacher here at Marysville, Mr. Kirk Smith. Thanks for being here today, Mr. Smith.
No problem. Great to see you.
So, what do you do as a Communication Arts teacher?
Well, basically, I direct 120 students trying to work through their projects. There's all kinds of different projects, different ability levels.
Okay.
We have students that are in their first semester, which we call rookies, and their second semester are veterans, and then we even have super vets that have been with us a couple of years.
Wow.
And each one has different sets of projects,
Okay.
so they have different skills that we're trying to teach in each one of those projects.
Okay. So, what would a typical day be like for you?
Well, we have 4 hours out of the day, 4 classes. Each one has between 28 and 30 students.
Okay.
The students work in the classroom at the editing stations. They also come across the hallway into the studio.
Okay.
And some of them like to be in front of the camera like you're doing today. Others love to be behind the camera working in the control room and doing those types of things. So it's mostly working with Mr. Mason and managing who's working on projects, who's editing, who's writing scripts, that type of thing.
And it's, great that it all can work together, and that people don't have to do the same things, that it kind of is based on everybody's own ability too.
We try to set some guidelines, and one of the big things that I try to teach is time management, being able to prioritize what needs to get done, how much time do you have to get it done.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges for young people, and a lot of old people too like me, but younger people in particular, is learning to use their time. Often for the first 8-9 years of school, you have a homework assignment, you turn it in the next day, you get it back, that type of thing. In our class, you might have 3 or 4 weeks to do a project. So you have to be able to work a little bit all week long, so when you get to that deadline, it's all set and ready to roll. And that procrastination bug hits all of us at times.
Oh yeah. So how long have you been teaching here at Marysville?
I've been teaching at the high school for 28 years. In the Communication Arts TV studio area, this is, I think, my 10th year.
Okay. So have you taught anywhere else?
I have never taught other classes, or let me change that. I've never taught at other schools. I've taught a lot of other classes here, the business classes, including marketing and accounting, general merchandising. We had a school store we started in the old building back in the late 80s. So we did a lot of those types of things. I've had student teaching experience down at Sterling Heights Stevenson, and done some other internships other places, but my actual teaching career has been all at Marysville High School.
Wow. So what ages of students do you deal with on a regular basis?
Well, generally in the past we had 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders at the high school, and I would have mostly juniors and seniors and some sophomores. But because of the recent budget cuts and things, we've had fewer electives offered, and now we have 9th graders taking the class. So we have 9th through 12th grade, which is really 14 to 18-year-olds, and that's a pretty hefty gap maturity-wise, and mixing those people together sometimes causes its own little dilemmas.
Yeah, I imagine it could. So what is M6?
M6 is Marysville Channel 6. Comcast came around back at the beginning. It was actually Heron Cable, and then Comcast bought them out. There was a grant available that Comcast, Heron at the time, helped put in TV stations at Port Huron Public Schools, Marysville, East China, and Algonac. And each one decided to do it a little differently. Port Huron was the first one. East China and Port Huron have a couple of adults that run the programs and with some students helping out. I'm not sure if Algonac has the program anymore at all. But in Marysville, we decided to do a student-based program. So that's where the 120 students come in. It is a practical art, performing art elective that students can take. They learn how to work or do an internship at a TV station. That's the objective. And some of them find out they're very good at it and they like doing it. Others find out it's an elective and it's time to go do something else. And that's okay, because that's what electives are for.
Yes, and it's so great too, because it's just another class that isn't like any other class you're able to take to and really help students.
It is pretty unique. Not a lot of schools around the state offer this type of class. It's a combination of a technology class It's certainly a 21st century speech class because you are out in front of people and getting that oral communication skill built up. There's a tremendous amount of writing that we try to do and get you to not just write questions, but enhance those questions, work on your vocabulary, those types of things.
So what airs on M6?
We have mostly school programming, but we also get some programming from the state of Michigan and Port Huron Hospital and RISA. But most of what we see, we try to do sporting events, we do concerts, and now with the new school venue set up that we can tape everything from the gym, the pool, and the auditorium right back to our studio. That's pretty exciting. We do go over to the elementary schools and try to tape some of their concerts and other events. We have talk shows with people from the community come in. We've had the city manager in, business owners, people from some of the service groups come in, talk about the activities, the nonprofits that they're doing. So we try to help promote the entire city of Marysville, but it's also for the school district and promote all the good things that you students are doing.
Yes. So what are some of the current projects that your students are working on right now?
Well, we have a couple of teaser projects that we start off with some of the rookies. They did a television trivia piece. Now they're doing a presidential trivia. They're also doing programs like this, which we call our traditional interview. We've had news packages where we teach the students how to go out and ask 3 questions of someone, and then they have to write a voiceover and do some filming of extra additional footage that they can mix into the story, because it's more effective to see things than to see 2 people sitting here talking. So that is what we call B-roll. But the stories and the projects advance. We've had advanced students that get all the way up into 2-hour documentaries. We've had World War II vets. We've had Vietnam vets come in. We've done political talk shows with some of the students, sports talk shows. We try to give that freedom, like you had mentioned earlier. If you're going to do homework, you might as well do something you enjoy doing. So if some students like music, we try to do something with music. If they like sports, we do something on sports. If it's the arts, we try to do something with that.
And it's so great too, because it's a kind of class that can vary so much, as you had mentioned, with all those different.
It can be a challenge because, like I said, 120 students all working on different projects, and part of my job is try to keep moving them forward. Are you getting this done? Do you have this next step done? That type of thing. But also the amount of guests that come into the studio. It's a lot of coordination, but that's a big part of that organization and time management we talked about.
Yeah. So where did you go to college?
I went to Central Michigan University. I did 2 years at SC4 and then went up to Central Michigan. And I majored in business education with a degree in marketing. I did my student teaching, like I said, it's Sterling Heights Stevenson, and I received a master's degree from Western Michigan University in school administration.
Okay. So what other jobs have you had in the communication arts industry?
Well, actually, in the comm arts area, I use my marketing background as much as anything. I've been very fortunate the 10 years that I've been here. We had Mike Murray, who had extensive broadcasting background in the Detroit market and other markets around. And Mr. Murray's now retired, so Mr. Mason, Mike Mason, has joined us from RISA. He's retired, but we talked him into coming in and helping us out. And his background with computers, technology, and broadcasting is really helping us take that next step forward and hopefully getting everything that we do up on the web very soon.
Definitely. So do you have any past students that are involved in the communication arts industry today?
We actually do have quite a few of the students. Like I said, some students decide that it's just a nice class and time to go do something else, but some really do find their passion is right here in the studio. We've had quite a few of them. Jason Lakevich is one that we've talked to quite a bit, and Mr. Mason just showed me some pictures this afternoon, as a matter of fact. He's working on a project, shooting a commercial for adoption. And he has quite a large budget to do that. He was in New York City, in Washington, D.C. Brian Murray has worked with NFL Films. He goes, he's done Super Bowls and all the big NFL games, and he's doing commercials also. Matt Mikowski's over in Grand Rapids working, I think it's the Fox station over there.
Jeez.
So we have, I hate to mention any in particular, but we have probably 20, 25 students that at one point or another have continued on in the program, and even some that have taken the program and then gone into public relations or some side field like marketing or something like that, that they've used their experience here to continue in something else.
That's great. Looks like the road to success is right here at Marysville then. Jeez.
Well, we have a lot of students that find success here, and of course that builds your confidence, and it gives you that opportunity to stretch your wings a little bit.
So what is the most important message that communication arts conveys to the students that take it?
Well, I think it's, like I said, it's a little bit different type of learning. When we write, we don't write paragraphs, full paragraphs like an English teacher, we write scripts. We talk about getting directly to the point. I want news stories to be 4 sentences or less. So you have to get right to the point. We're not trying to throw a lot of adjectives into it. We're going to be very descriptive in our writing. We talked about time management, working as a team. Right now, during this interview, there's about 8 different people just to make this interview happen.
Thanks for coming in today, Mr. Smith.
Glad to be here.
Please stay tuned for more after this.
That's all we have for you today on Student Connections. Be sure to join us next time on M6, your hometown station.